Hey you guys, welcome back to Vera's View. I'm here to once again run down this week's Raw and SmackDown. I'm going to actually start off with SmackDown this week because for once I favored Raw. My fails for the Blue Brand started off with Jinder Mahal pinning Ty Dillinger. Now, I know the champ needed the victory here to keep himself, looking on top, but the bias in me really wanted to see the Perfect 10 pull off the upset victory against the modern day Maharaja. My next fail was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin, solely because that match never actually happened. I'm not sure why they did it this way, but Nakamura took a page out of Corbin's book and attacked him before the bell rang. Now, both men were easily able to continue, but just didn't. The main event was my last fail for SmackDown. It was AJ Styles and John Cena versus Kevin Owens and Rusev. I just wasn't feeling it, and I also felt really bad for Kevin Owens because he not only lost his United States Championship at a live event, we'll talk about that in a second, but now he's getting pinned in the main event of SmackDown. It's been a rough week for the new face of America. My wins, though, did start off with that little tidbit of information, the fact that AJ Styles won the United States Championship at a live event. It's not very often we get to see a title change hands in a untelevised event, so I'm excited that that has happened for a little change. It was Madison Square Garden, however, so it definitely had that big show feel anyway. Excited to see also that AJ Styles has brought back the Open Challenge for United States Championship, even if we didn't get to see that challenge answered this week. My next win is the fact that at Battleground, we are going to have a 5-way elimination match to see who is the #1 contender for Naomi's SmackDown Women's Championship. It's going to be Natalya versus Tamina versus Lana versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. Excited to see who wins that one. In the meantime, we had a little tag team action to hold us over. It was Tamina and Natalya versus Becky and Charlotte. Tamina actually got the pinfall over Charlotte with a little help from Lana, who caused quite the distraction. My next win is Love Hurts. Maria and Mike are taking over SmackDown slowly but surely. I'm excited to see them move their way into the main event picture, but for right now, it looks like they're going to a long feud with Sami Zayn. Maria's backstage earlier in the night knocking on the men's locker room door, looking for Sami. She tells Chad Gable to send him over to her. She wants him to apologize to her yet again. He says, you know what, I've already apologized to you, and frankly, you guys are the ones who've been getting in my way with your little love-ins, which I thought was really funny. Then Maria does not really like that a whole lot, and he says to her, I get it, you're the fighter, and he's the lover. She slaps the shit out of Sami Zayn, and then Mike crashes a vase over his head to add insult to injury. She leans down and says, this is brought to you by the power of love, and sometimes, Sami, love hurts. I enjoy that she's toned down the accent as well. She's been doing a little bit over-the-top accent the last few weeks. It seems that she's gone back to more of a normal voice. My last win for SmackDown Live has to be, of course, Fashion Files. This week, we were in Texas, so we got a Texas Rangers spoof, Walker Texas Ranger. Instead of that, it was Sexy Fashion Rangers. Backstage, Fandango actually has a hobby horse, so anyone who knows me knows that I think that's hilarious, and it's an inside joke, but I was loving it. Him and Tyler Breeze are trying to figure out who did trash their office. This week's suspects were Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley. Once they clear their name, though, they realize that the hobby horse is gone. Who would take Tully? Was it ghosts? Was it aliens? Ghost aliens. So next week, it looks like we're going to get the Fashion X-Files, which is pretty exciting because I love the X-Files, and the truth is not H, ladies and gentlemen. Raw this week, my fails started off with Finn Balor versus Elias Samson because, you know what, I'm not to beat a dead horse, but I really want to see Finn Balor in a higher profile feud. This is definitely great for Elias Samson getting to start off with someone like Finn, but I think it just hurts the Balor Club. My last fail, though, of course, I have to talk about it every week. 205 Live filler, ladies and gentlemen. I hated this tag match, and even more so, please, somebody, anybody, get Alicia Fox and Titus O'Neil off my television set. Pretty please. My wins, though, did start off with the Hardy Boys. They were teasing the Broken gimmicks. That's going to be exciting when we get to see that happen in WWE. In the meantime, looks like they're going into a feud with the Revival, or possibly Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, or maybe both. It's exciting to see what's going to happen now that they seem to be moving away from the title picture. Dean Ambrose was my next win. He crashes the Mizzies. Now, we all know I don't really like the Miz all that much, but I gotta give him props. He's been doing some great stuff lately. I really enjoyed this Mizzies thing. Dean crashes it, however, with a little help from his old buddy Seth Rollins. Backstage, Dean Ambrose tries to make it clear there will be no Shield reunion, but will there? Because he came to the aid later on that night of Seth Rollins, so that kind of makes me think that maybe he's gonna eat those words and maybe we'll get a little bit of a Shield reunion. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Bayley pins Alexa Bliss is my next win for Raw. It was Bayley and Sasha versus Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. Looks like to me this is going to lead into a fatal four-way match for the Women's Championship at SummerSlam, because Bayley now has a pinfall victory over the champion. Doesn't that put her next in line? But Sasha Banks is number one contender, so she wants to face her at the pay-per-view. But we all know Nia Jax is also dying to get her hands on that title, so anything's going to go. I think this is the way they're going to go about it. Get everybody on the card. Goldust was another big win for me this week. He had a really great line in his promo. It was, normally the sequel is never as good as the original, but nothing about me is normal. I thought that was really clever. And then he went on to get a big victory over R-Truth. Brock and Samoa Joe. I could not get enough of this. They are just, I really enjoy the two of them working together. I'm not the biggest fan of either. Like, I like them both, but they're not my number one guy or anything. But this has been a really, really entertaining feud to me. Brock Lesnar comes out because Kurt Angle wants to congratulate him for his win at Great Balls of Fire. But Roman Reigns comes out to say, you know what? Forget about Great Balls of Fire. I'm next. I'm the next guy to face you for that championship. Then Samoa Joe says, nuh-uh, like, I'm not done with him yet. He comes out and says to Brock, you didn't beat me, you escaped me, which I really liked. I thought that was really powerful. I'm really torn to what I want to happen here. Kurt Angle announces that next week on Raw, we're going to see Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns to find out who is number one contender for SummerSlam to face Brock Lesnar. I have arguments for both sides. I'd obviously like to see Roman Reigns because we all know I don't like Roman Reigns, but follow me here. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are the only two men to have beaten The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Now we have to have them go head-to-head to find out who is the best. But, again, I'm not ready for this Samoa Joe feud to be over. I have this little desire in me to see Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, where Paul Heyman turns on Brock to side with Joe, making him the next Paul Heyman guy. I would love to see it. Hopefully we do. My next win, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, is the main event, and it was Bray Wyatt getting another pinfall victory over Seth Rollins. This makes 2 victories in a row for the Eater of Worlds. Could this be the little turnaround that he needs to get back on top? And, of course, my last win has to be this Kurt Angle. What is going on here? What's going to ruin his career? Who does he love? Who is on the other end of that phone? Is it Dixie Carter? Is it Stephanie McMahon? You know, a little throwback to their weird angle in the Attitude Era where she had a crush on him, but she was a Triple H and it was awkward. I've heard a lot of rumors that it's going to be a love child angle with Kurt and Steph, and they're going to announce it next week. Probably get to see who it's probably going to be a wrestler that's their love child if this is the way it's going to go, but I'm eating it up because it's got that old school, like, soap opera feel, and we haven't seen that in a while. But that's all for this week, you guys. Please check back soon for more Vera's View. I'm Vera for the WWFu InterNetwork.